Alright, so scrolling around on eBay, and did I ever mention that I love eBay? If you're like laying in bed, you can't sleep, you get tired of looking at the gram, you get tired of looking at YouTube, and all of a sudden you scroll on over to eBay. eBay is almost just as fun as Instagram or YouTube. And then you start noticing, like, wow, I didn't know that, or wow, I didn't know this was this cheap, or I didn't know this was this expensive. And then you start scrolling around, and one leads to the next, and you guys in the comments always go, where did you find that? Where did you get that? Where? Spend some time on eBay. It's actually kind of fun to go around on there. You can buy something old, put it in your collection. Your collection might not look like everybody else's collection because they're not just like the latest set of Marvel Legends, which I get those as well. So on these Bandai effect stands or bases, I'm not real sure what they call them. I think it was Bandai effect base, just in case you're going to try to find these things on eBay. Some of these things are really expensive when they first come out. They're normally about $20 each. I think that price tag is insane considering an action figure is 20 bucks. I'm not going to spend 20 bucks on one of these little effects when I just spent $20 on an action figure. My goal is to put like some of this stuff with like my Mezco or some of my high-end action figures, because when I spend like anywhere from 10 to 15 bucks on one of these bases and I put it with an $80 toy to make it pop. Here's the downside to that. When you get these really cool effect stands, I basically just pick out the ones that look really cool. And then I get them, and then when I get them in my toy room, it's like, well, this kind of works for that figure, but not really. This one kind of works for that figure, but it's a cheap figure, and I don't really think they deserve a base. And this one, so when I go to match them up with figures, I have a really hard time. It's like, well, her magic effect is purple, but this effect is pink. The fire doesn't. It's not the easiest thing in the world to match these things up with action figures, and you're trying to do a cool display. Granted, the majority of my action figures are in vanilla poses, but I do have a couple like my Mezco shelves where I dress them up a little bit, kind of put them in action poses, and that's where these things come in, so I'm going to put them back here on the shelf. As far as price goes, like these fireball effects, I think these things were 10 bucks. I think this like rock effect were 11 bucks. These things range, the price that I was shopping in was anywhere from $10 to $14 shipped from China. They throw it in like a styrofoam bag, and when it gets on your door, it looks like it got kicked down the street. And by the time so when you see it, it's just so mangled, you know that it's going to be broken on the inside. Surprisingly enough, none of these things were broken. These fireball effects, these things were like the $14 price tag. I'll walk you through all this. I'll match it up with some figures. In the comments, when I match these up with figures, if you guys want to help me out in the comments, which I'm sure you're going to do anyways, and say that base sucks with that figure, you should probably try this figure, I will absolutely take your advice on that and then mix it up, and then you'll eventually see it in another video. Let's get to these things. First off, we're going to take a look at this effect with like the little explosion balls and like the gray base. Now you can get these things with different color bases, but as far as the explosion balls go, all I saw was the orange was available, and these balls are slightly different than some of these balls. These things are different. So one of the things you need to look out for if you're going to order this base here comes with these like tall plastic skinny sticks, which absolutely work amazing. You can take them, you can cut them with these, and you can also bend them with these because they're just straight sticks. So if you take them and you bend them, then you can kind of like bend them at a 90-degree angle or whatever angle you want. They bend really good. I thought they would break, but they don't. And then they plug right into the back of these little effects. So that definitely works pretty good. Some of these come with these crappy ones, like this one here, not to bounce around, but you see, like these things come with like these weird poles with all these holes in them. This one looks like shit. So if you shop around, you can actually find different bases with these little skinny poles, but then they might not be the color that you want. You might be able to buy those poles in like an arts and crafts store, just use some wire or something, but I like the fact that they're clear. So like this one here right next to it came with the crappy ones. I had extra ones from this one, so I used the extra ones over here, or vice versa. Now I can't really remember. but they'll show you in the picture, so that's just something to look out for. Try to get the ones with these little extension stick poles, and they don't really cost you any more money as far as that goes. This base is really cool. I'm not real sure why this thing is gray, but that's the reason why I bought it. I don't know if this is supposed to be like an explosion, if it's fire, if it's electricity. I guess it's whatever you want to be. You pay for it, you name it, whatever you want. These things on the bottom, I put them on the sticks. God, those look cool with like the light hitting them. Really amazing. I was thinking like something like this, instead of like explosion balls, I could lightly dust this thing with some spray paint, paint them like pink or purple, whatever, and then kind of have like a magic effect instead of like an explosion. I got 2 of these. I might do that. I don't know. I'll match it up with figures and see how it actually works out. Let's get this thing out of the way. We'll go ahead and take a look at this one. I'm not real sure which one came with which. And then on the bottom, the bottoms on the base, they plug in the bottom. Like one of these plugs was missing, or I took it when I snapped it apart. And they'll plug in the base. These things also clip on this little base thing, and they clip on really good. And when you clip around, you just got to make sure that they line up. Otherwise, like they go big to small, and it's not really rocket science. I'm sure you guys can figure it out. But here's this one. It has the blue base, and then the orange balls. And once again, it would kind of be cool to hit these with a little bit of a spray paint. Try to mix those up to make it look like more like a magic effect instead of like a fireball. Then this one had like the purple base, which is cool, and then the rock, you can take the rock apart and it all clips together and it fits inside of the bottom, but then they just stand on it. And it is really cool to have inside. It'd be really cool to have like the thing inside and the rock coming up, but it really wouldn't work with the holes as far as that thing plugs in. Once again, this is like the crappy one. Try to avoid this one. Try to get the ones with the stick, because you just see all that weird plastic stuff behind it. I hid it as good as I could, so when you look at it right from the front, you can't really see them. This one has the brown rocks, the purple effect. I'm not real sure who this would be a good one for at all. Like I was kind of thinking Magneto, but then I got a different one for Magneto, especially when they make that Mezco Magneto. I'm not real sure who I'm going to use on this one, but I'll stick someone with it. Then you guys in the comments, you can probably tell me I did it wrong. This one, I was actually thinking when I bought it, you should probably think of who you're going to use with these things before you buy them. I just randomly buy the ones that I think are cool, then I get them to my house or my toy room, and I don't know who to stick with it. I was thinking like my Mezco Thor, you can take you can drill a hole in the bottom of that, and then you can use the action figure stand that he comes with already, run the hole through this like right here, which I'm probably going to do that. Put Thor right in the middle of it. I mean, it doesn't really match anything exactly. It just kind of livens it up. Like this doesn't really look like lightning, but I really like this. But then if I didn't use this, then you just see the clear base. It's kind of pick or choose. Like you're not going to get the exact thing that you want because you weren't the one that made these things. And then as far as a ground effect, let me get this thing out of here. I have wanted these things for quite some time, but these were always $20, and I just wasn't going to pay $20 for these. The price dropped. I think they were 10. They could have been 11. That's with shipping from China, so I definitely think that's a pretty good deal. And then on this thing, like the centerpiece will come out. You can, not this one, but these these have holes in them, so you either can like plug them up on stands, or you can use your own stand. And like, I don't really know why you'd want this thing like this, but I've seen people do it, and it actually looks pretty good. And then you put this thing back in here, and I was thinking kind of like Human Torch, or if I can get it to line up in there. All right, there it is. I was thinking like Human Torch or somebody like that, have him like blasting out of that. Once again, I could drill a hole in it, put a base on it, do something cool. I just thought that this one was really cool with the fire. They make this thing in like 6 different colors. Basically, any color you would want, they have. Brown, white, gray, black. I mean, tons of colors. And then I have this one, so this one would be like a street that got broke up. I really love these. I might get a couple more of these. They just, man, that looks cool. It just sucks like because once you set it down on the ground, you can't really see how cool it is. But you can have like somebody like doing their Superman punch or whatever, superhero punch on the ground, like it's blasting off. And then these little rocks will clip off and clip on. And then this whole thing will clip apart into sections. So you can like put this thing up, which I've seen them do like in their pictures, where like everything's in like its own little piece. You can really do some really cool stuff with this. I'm not that kind of guy that's going to take the time to do all that. On these little explosion balls, I have a ton of these already, but the price went down. These things were $10 each. Some of this stuff is bootleg, some of it isn't. If these balls here, on the other set of explosion balls, all 3 balls were different. I don't know if they packed these wrong or if they're bootlegs or whatever, but all 3 of these balls were exactly the same, as they don't really clip together as good as my other ones clip together. Doesn't really bother me because I glued all the other ones. You can kind of like put them like this, and then this one goes here. Hold on, let me get the camera down so you can actually see it. And then you glue all those together, or they have holes in the back, and you can use their stands and put that together, stands, but I think it's just better just to crazy glue that all together. But I'd like to have some like little balls like separate like this. That's why I got them. And if you don't like that color, then they make the yellow, which I already have a few of these. And then they make, I think they make a gray one, and I'm looking over here on my shelf, and I think they make a few different colors, so shop around, make sure that you get the one that you want. And then these bases, these are kind of old, like, I have a few of these, and then I saw that the price dropped. These things are like 10 bucks now. So I went ahead and got a few more. I'm not real sure to display these things with anybody. Like, I'm pretty sure all these things are, what is it, Dragon Ball Z or something? One of those things that I don't collect. Which I guess would be a really cool effect for that, but I just thought that that was cool. I'm going to stick some kind of action figure in front of it. I just really like that. They called this one red, even though it doesn't really look red. But you can see through it, so they basically, all these things are clear, and they just kind of hit them with a little bit of paint or whatever. And it definitely, it works out. At least I think it kind of works out. Let me scoot the camera over. And once again, we have a green one. And that one actually looks like it's kind of like green plastic. It's really translucent. Definitely looks cool. No clue who I'm going to put with that. I'll put somebody with them. Maybe I should. I think I might have a blue one ready. Then the pink one, I was looking forward to the pink one because I was thinking like Jubilee. Every figure, everything I get, I'm like, oh, I'm in love with that new Jubilee. Thinking this could go with Jubilee, but then like this thing, like the spray paint, the paint they put on is just way too thick and you can't see through it, so you can see that it's clear. But they went a little too heavy on the pink, so it doesn't really look like the other ones. Alright, one more to go. And then you have this one, and this one sucks because this one, well, it doesn't suck, but it sucks that this rock has a hole in it. It's free. You can plug that, this thing in it, or something in it, so you can take all these rocks, take them off the sticks, make them for they fit inside of here, which is really cool, and I did it. It looks really cool together. I probably should have did that and showed you in these videos, but once it's in there, once again, you can't even tell that it's in there. So this thing with the whole floating rock, I just thought that was really cool. I really love these sticks. I just really, when you buy these, make sure that these sticks come with it and they're not the other one. These stands that come with it, I hate these. Like, I don't like how they have a bend on them. They're just weird. Like, I got better action figure stands, which I think I would rather put in there. I went ahead and put that one in there. It's like this one, you can like set a figure in there, like his crotch would go right here and clamp him on there. Probably work out pretty good. This is the one where I was thinking for a Magneto, like maybe this could be like steel instead of the street, although it definitely looks like the street. That's it. I'm going to stick some figures in them, take a bunch of pictures, and then I'm gonna attempt to put all this on my shelf with figures in it. So let's check that out. So this is kind of like a shelf that I've been putting like teams together on, or I just basically usually leave this shelf about half empty. Because you guys know as collectors, it's always nice to have an empty shelf because your shelves fill up really quick, and then you get a brand new set of toys and you're really excited and you got no place to put them. So it's always nice to have a shelf that's either empty or half empty. Throw them up there and kind of sort them out later. You know, squeeze them in like towards the upper shelves. So this is like that shelf where most of the Bandai effects are. If you come down one shelf, then this is like the Mezco / Marvel Legends shelf. You know, I had to mix in Marvel Legends because there's just not enough bad guys. Then down here you have the DC Mezco shelf. I'm going to kind of show you the effects, how I mixed them in. Walking all the way over here. No effects here. Maybe this wasn't a good place to start. Coming around, this is one of the explosions you get that you can actually glue together. I just use crazy glue. They do kind of lock in, but they won't sit there without crazy glue. The lightning effects, these are like my favorite effects, but these things are, I've never seen them on sale. Every time I see them, they're like 20 bucks. I would definitely like to get a few more of these. I could use that for Storm. I could use that for Thor. I mean, Electro, like that is an amazing effect. So whenever these prices come down on these, 20 bucks for those, I actually paid 20 bucks for those. I'm not gonna pay 20 more. Like if I see them for like 15 bucks or less, I might get some more. Then working around the DC shelf, that might be about it for the effects as far as on the DC shelf go. I definitely show Marvel a little bit more love. Yeah, that's basically it. Let me go ahead and come down here to like the Mezco shelf. I'm just gonna kind of show you the shelf. One effect that I did use, I thought this one was pretty cool with Doctor Strange with that like the base kind of. I mean, you got to use your imagination on this stuff. I was just assuming that was like kind of magic, or you can think it's explosions, whatever. I could kind of paint those and make them like purple and pink and stuff like that. I don't know. I thought it looked pretty good with them. Basically, you can take it and you can drill a hole in the bottom of that, and then you can put that Mezco stand right through it, and then it actually worked out really well. Coming over here, here's some of the new explosions. These were like, I don't know, they're in a real package, but I'm kind of thinking that they were a bootleg because these are all exactly the same. Normally when you get these explosions, they should be 3 different ones. This one was not. I went ahead and pulled out Madcap for that. I thought that made a pretty cool display with Deadpool. This one I'm sure you've seen many times before. It's just one of those like kind of like explosion, electricity, whatever you want to call it, effects. And coming back around, coolest dirt bike ever made right there. Here's the other explosion effects. This would be the yellow one. The last one I just showed you would be the orange one in case you guys wanted to order. This is what they actually look like. Kind of did like an explosion thing with multiple man there. I thought that was kind of cool how I set it up. And then here is like my favorite explosion effect. I glued those together. Thought that looks really good. And then back here on the other side, I guess I didn't show you. Well, there's the back of another one of those explosion effects. Coming down here, we got some more fire. I'm pretty sure that was like the yellow fire. I don't think that was the orange. Depending on who you buy these things from, it seems like they always mix them up a little bit as far as the color goes. Like you might say orange, but then it really looks yellow or it really looks red. Then coming up here to the main shelf where I kind of put the majority of these. This is kind of like a little Ghost Rider scene that I put together. Got Mephisto over here in his chair. Got Blackheart back there. Got the motorcycles rolling out. I just thought that really looked cool. I mean, I normally just do all vanilla pose, cram all my stuff on there, and you really can't appreciate it when it's like that, so I figured I'd at least do like 3 like shelves in here. I might do another one where I kind of did like teams or little fight scenes or something. This is kind of like my X-Men Dream Team. It's hard for me to build an X-Men team because I like so many characters. And if I try to do a certain lineup, then it's like, well, and I want to add Nightcrawler, and I want to add Jubilee, and I want to add Beast. So I just kind of did a mashup of an X-Men team, basically all my favorite X-Men characters in one team. Back here in the back, you can see that I use that effect with Magneto. I thought that worked out pretty good. He had the purple electricity in his hand, so I went ahead and put that purple base on him. Then like he's lifting the rocks. And over here you have Jean Grey. Trying to get in here where you can see. Oh, okay, that's a pretty good angle. Jean Grey with that effect there is basically the same as the effect right next to it, except for her rocks are brown, and then the magic thing is blue. I think I mixed those two up. This one actually came, the one with the purple actually came with the brown rocks, but I was thinking that the black rocks would kind of look like metal or something, but maybe not. And I don't know if you see it back there behind Blackheart. There's another one of those like weird like fire electricity effects. I thought it was kind of cool. Jubilee, I went ahead and went with the pink effect. I mean, it's Jubilee, why not? Coming back around, I got the Blob all posted up, getting dogpiled by a bunch of X-Men. God, I love that Blob. He's one of my favorite figures in my collection. And then I did a little Spider-Man scene here. I didn't really do the Sinister Six. I just did some of my favorite villains against some of my favorite Spider-Man characters. I know it's probably not right, but I thought it looked cool. And then you have Rhino over here. Oh, this effect here. This is the the green flame. I have every color of flame. I just really like that effect, and it works pretty much. It can be magic, it could be fire. I love the water one. Oh, I was gonna put my Hydro Man up here. I guess I'll zoom in on that in a second. And then back there with Whirlwind, that's like another one of my favorite effects. All right, this is my favorite effect back there. It's kind of like, looks like a world, I guess it looks like a whirlwind. Those are also 20 bucks. I've never seen those on clearance. That's another effect that I'd like to get more of as soon as it goes down in price. And then back here you have Cannonball. Everybody's complaining that Cannonball didn't come with legs. Well, if you get on eBay, you can get a Cannonball with leg, and then you can have one of each. I absolutely love that figure to death. And I'm really glad that the new one doesn't come with legs. I like that effect thing. That to me, that just fits him so well. And that has like, it's the same base as the other ones, but it has like the gray and then the fire and with the light shining through. That just really works. I'm really happy with how that turned out. Then you got Doom over here. I thought that was a good effect. It's got the electricity coming up. Johnny Storm or Torch is over here busting out the fire. I went ahead and used that ground effect on him, like a fire effect. And then I put him up on the stand. I swear to God, like once the ACBA gets a hold of this, man, my phone's going to be ringing off the hook. Because my posing skills are just off the charts right now. So back to the Doom, he's like throwing some fire at him. I think for myself, I got really creative for a guy that doesn't really pose his action figures. Went ahead and threw Howard the Duck in there just because I really like that figure a lot. And then you have the Thing, like he's smashing the ground. He's over here battling the Claw. Like the Claw has him mixed up in that thing. And then went ahead and Invisible Woman. Of course she's into it. But yeah, look at that effect, man. You can like pose it sideways like with any cheap stand you got or whatever. And God, I really, really like that effect. Hopefully those things will come down in value. Have like the original X-Men team, X-Force team, Defenders, at least my favorite Defenders. Thunderbolts over here, went ahead and put that clear effect with him. And then in the comics, feel free to beat me up as much as you want and go, that doesn't look good with him, this would look better with him, because you're probably right, and I'll probably take your advice and change some of these. Let me go ahead and show you this Hydro Man real quick with this water effect. I know a lot of you guys hate this figure. I absolutely love it just because of the base. I do have the legs. That's where everybody was complaining about the Cannonball. Hydro Man came with both. I hate that Hydro Man, but I love like the top part. I love the bottom part. I wonder if you can mash that up and mix them with the new one. That would be like the best of both worlds. Alright guys, so there's my effects. There's kind of my new display. Like always, thanks for watching.